Welcome to Music and Medicine. I'm your host, Dr. Moshe Lewis. Really excited to be here at the BET Awards live, coming to you from JW Marriott. And my lovely host is joining me, Kathleen Bradley.
Hey, hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us. It is so exciting down here. LA Live. If you've never been here before, this whole area is already exciting. And we have all the basketball theater over there, and then the crypto and BET Awards this weekend. Oh, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
We have some wonderful guests that are coming down on the show and spending time with us.
Sure.
It's exciting.
Absolutely. One of whom, former mayor of Compton, Asia Brown. And let's see, I mean, your record really precedes you. You, to my understanding, really were instrumental in decreasing some of the tension between the Crips and the Bloods. That is just something that was historic. So I want to kind of roll back the clock a little bit because you're from California, went to USC, been in economics a long time. Talk to us about this vision to kind of really move into politics.
Absolutely. I generally had no concept that I would be in politics. I knew that I would work in community economic development
Right.
through cities. And so I led capital projects for about 10 years and really was doing redevelopment in Compton and Inglewood, even Gardena. And I was recruited to come really lead a fierce acquisition that they were doing to really try to secure land and then really focus on redevelopment. After I was there for a few years, I recognized that we were, pushing projects up the pipeline and there was definitely gridlock at the political level. And so I realized that with Compton, in order for it to reach its full potential, we needed fresh vision, new leadership, and really a coalition builder. And so I started looking for people to run for mayor. And I remember everyone said no. And I literally just prayed. I was like, God, I know you sent me here and I know what I see here. And he literally told me, like, this is your assignment. And I was shocked. And I took a few weeks to just process. And then I talked with my husband about it. And he was like, Asia Brown, you were like made for this. Let's do this. And the rest was history. We really one day at a time, just building coalitions and doing outreach, but really talking to the people about what they wanted. And they wanted a safer community. They wanted grocery stores and healthy options. They wanted to be able to have their parks revitalized and to have more housing options. And so all of the things that many times people just take for granted, that was really within their heart. So I utilized my background and education and experience to devise a strategy. And that was our 12-point plan that we instituted over the 8 years that I served as mayor. And the rest is history.
That's 2 terms. Is that
Two
four?
terms.
That's
Yes.
wonderful.
Yes.
My gosh. And I've seen you before. I'm like, wow, she's so pretty. She's the
Thank
mayor.
you.
Wow. It's like very inspirational,
Thank
obviously,
you.
for young women coming up of color, especially to show them that, there's something that you can do or be whatever you want to be, especially in Compton, Mayor.
Thank
That's
you,
wonderful.
Kathleen.
I want to try to talk about where some of that inspiration comes from. I suspect it could be your mom. And if I'm not getting too personal, single mother,
Yes.
and she worked at a jet propulsion lab, which is
Yes.
not something that everybody would imagine. And just talk to us about some of that inspiration, because I suspect some of the fire comes from there.
Absolutely. My mother was the first visionary and just leader that I met. And my mother always had big vision and laid out a plan for my brother and I have a twin brother to follow. And so she was always in the environment of innovation and always on the cutting edge of like the latest information. So I remember when the internet really took off and she was just like, okay, there's a new World Wide Web and information is at our fingertips and the encyclopedia, that's outdated. And she would just always continue to elevate my perspective of the world. And at 8 years old, I used to go to Saturday Science Academy through Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and I learned how to code. And I was learning Java C+ language, and I was electrical engineering and building computer circuit boards and all of it and advanced math. So she really opened my perspective about what I could do. And so that really built my esteem that I can excel in science and technology and math. And it really impacted how I viewed myself in the world.
Sure.
Let me ask you though, when as mayor in Compton, which is a very difficult city to live in, and we know there's a lot of high crime
Yeah.
rate and gangs and everything. As a matter of fact, my husband and I, we had some apartment buildings over there in the Grand D's.
Oh, yes. Familiar.
The Grand
Yes.
D's.
Yes.
But how did what kind of impact do you think you've made a positive impact in changing some of the stigma or things that happen over there with some of the negativity in the
Absolutely.
Compton per se.
I would definitely think from a two-pronged perspective, one, the work that we did with gang intervention and prevention was really profound, touching all of the various gangs within the community. Compton is a smaller city, but there are literally over 30 gangs. And so we called a meeting with all of them, and they had representatives, and just really hearing the heart that they had for the community. Was able to see grown men shed tears because they hadn't seen people since they were in elementary school, and really just challenging the perception of what they thought was possible, and then also showing up. They made a commitment to reduce the violence, and I made a commitment to bring more jobs, and we both kept our commitment. And so we saw the reduction in violent crime and shootings, and really just setting a foundation for a greater building of community. And we were able to come together even in the height of the pandemic where other communities were rioting. Compton was safe. We didn't have any shootings or looting, and we actually assembled thousands of people. The greatest assembly that we had in the city's history came together at the MLK Monument, and it was just beautiful to see everyone peacefully demonstrate, and also to continue to build on just a more unified foundation for Compton. And just this past week, we saw Kendrick Lamar really bring the city together again, and really in an iconic way continue to bring those different neighborhoods and different backgrounds and community together in a really beautiful and visible way. So I believe the trajectory for Compton is continuing to be uplifted, and it's just one person plants a seed, another waters, and God gets
Right.
the increase. So I'm seeing just the continual work that was already built upon before I got there, and so we all just did our part.
Right.
Wonderful.
That's a great stepping stone to you have a strategic vision and plan that,
Mhm.
although officially that's not your title, talk to us about what you're working on now for the city of Compton.
Absolutely. We are really thankful for Dr. Dre's leadership to invest in a performing arts center at Compton High. And so
Yes.
that's under construction now. It will open in 2025. And so now we've directed efforts to build an innovation hub in the city of Compton. There's such a rich history of culture and technology and innovation. And so we're really focusing on providing a space for young people to come and create and be a part of the innovation economy. And so we really want beautiful, original content that is reflective of our community to come from the city of Compton. So building that infrastructure so our community can continue to expand.
Right, Compton is, and I know they're famous for having the aeronautics
Yes.
build.
Aeronautical Museum, yes.
Yeah, right near where obviously the grandees were, and actually the apartment buildings that we did
Yes.
buy there, they're so nice and so well built.
Hmm.
They had been there for so long. Initially, they were for housing the servicemen and the pilots and people that would come into the city, and just how much just the richness of all
Hmm.
that. At some point, like a lot of other places that are now not such a desirable place to
Hmm.
say to live in, that how it started out and just the beauty of it all. Compton is a very pretty place. It's got some great
Yes.
places and areas
Beautiful
and houses
neighborhoods.
and
Hmm.
all that. And just to have someone so special like you and your people that you work with to really give of yourself and your heart to do that is such a great undertaking. I applaud you for
Thank
that.
you, Kathleen. It was reasonable service, but definitely all love for sure.
But yes, we still need it happening. Hopefully your predecessor is doing what they're supposed to do
Yes.
and you're keeping the whip
Yes.
cracked a little bit on them.
Hopeful, just hoping to lift those arms up so we can keep moving forward.
Yeah, please.
Yes.
Doing a good
Yes.
job.
What's
Thank
that
you.
message of support that you want community leaders and people that are there to embrace as you all undertake some of these other initiatives and move forward?
Definitely want to just continue to encourage community to be involved and engaged. When more people are involved, there's just a
Mhm.
higher quality of decision making and really navigation for collaboration. It takes many parties to do anything substantial. And so just to encourage the community to continue to show up and hold everyone accountable and do their part as well.
Sure.
Right.
Our show's called Music and Medicine. When you hear those words, where do you sort of go for your own healing and rejuvenation? Because
Yes.
there's a lot of weight on your shoulders.
Absolutely. Music has been such a beautiful refuge just in my life and through so many different stages of life. But music is definitely just healing for the soul. And there are so many beautiful, just glorious voices that are creating beautiful reflections of their experiences, even the tough things. It speaks to the heart of where everyone is at some part in their condition. And so I'm really thankful for the musicians that pour their heart out, that really help enrich the lives of all of us.
Absolutely. Here, as we celebrate BET weekend, we're delighted to be joined by former Mayor Asia Brown. The work she has done in the city to build communities and to bring people together that may have seen so many more differences by improving their economic situation is historical. And certainly, I think acts as a model for other cities to replicate as well. But she hasn't stopped there. Officially, that's not her title. She continues to be the strategic person who is taking the city to the next level by really bringing a foundation that will hopefully continue to provide more jobs, but also make Compton a center of excellence when it comes to strategy, community building, and just basically us being able to get along and work together for the good. So we so appreciate you joining us
Thank
Thank you
today.
you.
so very
Same
much
to
for
Such a
say.
having
positive
me.
message.
Oh, I'm honored. Thank you so much for creating this space and
Sure.
allowing me to be here with you.
No, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.